know that I want to start off, as strange as this is for us, but I want to start off talking about shows, movie and TV reviews. And I got that nice banner that I want to use. I haven't used it in a
Oh,
long time.
cool. Yeah, we haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, and I was thinking, man, there's a good segue here because I wanted to talk about Mike Flanagan, who's a director, writer, and director. I
Right,
just
right.
found I started watching some of his stuff, and I started hearing, oh, it's another work by Mike Flanagan. I never
Huh.
paid that much attention to directors and stuff.
I don't either.
Not a whole lot, but some. Like that
Yeah.
Rodriguez guy is super interesting. I listened to him on a podcast or two.
Huh.
He's the one that did Sin City and some other things.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
He's real creative.
Thought it was really cool
He
actually.
started
Yeah.
making movies with a Super 8 video camera and splicing everything together. And sorry,
Uh-huh.
just briefly an aside. And so he was creating home movies with him and his brother and friends in the neighborhood, like really young. And by the time he got into film school, he did virtually every aspect of movie making. So when he got into movie making, he goes, you don't believe how important the editing process is.
Oh my
It's
gosh, that is
everything. It can
I've
make or break your movie.
I think that I've seen that to be the truth here. Oh, we didn't introduce the show.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Over 50 Starting Over, everybody. This is a show where you get your inspiration, information, and awareness for people championing their third act.
Wow, that was nice. That championing thing, that's a tough one.
I got to hit some
But I'm
thesaurus
Merle
on that.
Garrison and that's
Barry
Barry
Edwards.
Edwards.
Oh, so
No,
like
but yeah, back
with
to the films.
Rodriguez, the one
Yeah.
way that he illustrated this, he goes, there was this one movie, he mentioned it, everybody's seen it, I don't remember, but he said where the good guy has to grab a gun, catch a gun in midair and fire it before he hits the ground. Actually, I think even load it and fire it before he hits the ground. And he
Right,
goes,
right. I
we
do
had
that all the time.
no budget, and we shot it in 3 takes, shot it 3 times. And it was just about the editing. About in the first take, we got him loading the gun. The second take, we got him midair. But his point was, it was the fact you hear a gun shell hit the ground, then you hear the gun go off. He goes, adding that sound where I wanted to add that sound makes your mind fill in these gaps.
Mm,
And when you play it
mhm.
live, and he did that, you play it live, it's 100% believable. Power of editing.
How about that? I remember the story of Star Wars and how all of those now huge stars,
Oh,
they
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
huge stars when they were filming it. And it was like George Lucas was having total revolt from the actors because they thought this movie was super stupid.
Oh,
And
I remember
they
reading that.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
they were just they revolted. They're like, we're not doing that. And then finally when Lucas had the film and just basically the raw material, it proved the point that this is going to be a really stupid movie. And
Uh,
Lucas brought in some editor who was like a editor savant kind of guy, and he put together the clips to what now is one of the greatest movies of all time.
sure.
So, to your point, it's editing, editing, editing.
Yeah, it really is. And what's interesting about what you said, it's a good segue into this, is Luke Skywalker, what's his name? Hamill,
Uh,
Mark Hamill.
yeah, Mark Hamill, right?
Yeah, so he was I was talking about Mike Flanagan, and so, God, I don't know which way I'm going. Let me introduce Mike Flanagan here. I just copied some notes here. So he's an American filmmaker, writer, and director. He's known for his Netflix thrillers and horror work. His films are known for building suspense and using horror elements as metaphors. That's important. I'm going to talk about that for real life
Huh,
struggles.
I see.
Flanagan has written, directed, produced, and edited such films as Hush, Midnight Mass. I talked to you about that before. I want to talk about
Huh.
it again.
Okay. All right.
Oculus, Gerald's Game, which I just watched the night before,
I
Doctor
see.
Sleep, Ouija, and Origin of Evil. What's not included in these notes, though, funny, is House of Usher. And that's like a 8-part series that I just
Yeah.
watched.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
finished a
yeah.
few nights ago. It was really, really good. I better make a note to talk about that. So in House of Usher, by the way, Mark Hamill plays the fixer guy in this. And I'm watching this
Fixer.
show, and I'm like, is that Mark Hamill? I mean, totally different Mark Hamill than you would ever think. But
Yeah.
I didn't know much about Mark Hamill outside of Luke Skywalker,
Yeah,
right?
me neither.
Then
Right.
I find out he's like famous, really famous for doing the voice of Joker in a very popular Batman animated series.
Is that
Like
right?
kind of
Huh.
legendary for it at this point, which
Wow.
is like total madness, right?
So he's Batman.
Joker.
Oh, the Joker. Oh,
Mark
Joker. Oh,
Hamill.
bad guy. Okay, it's hard to think of him as a bad guy
I know.
because
And
he's Luke Skywalker.
that's what I mean. So another thing about Mike Flanagan is he like this is why I got interested in him. First of all, I first did watching Midnight Mass about a year
Okay.
ago. I talked to you about it maybe on the podcast. I'm not sure, but I remember talking to you about it
I don't
in
remember.
person.
Yeah.
And I say in person, well, on the phone or
Yeah,
whatever.
this is in person.
Yeah, yeah. So Midnight Mass is captivating. I actually watched it twice because it
Uh-huh.
was really good at a surface level, and it was tremendous on a deeper level when you really thought about it. And I wanted to watch it again. It's about this colony of people on this island that seems to be a bit off the coast of, say, Vancouver, and but it's a really dark, kind of cold place, kind of depressing. It's like, why do those people live there? And it seems
Right.
like set back in the time, but it's really kind of not. But these killings start happening first with animals and stuff, lots of dead animals laying around, and then with people, and it turns into this vampire horror story.
Huh.
And what is
Vampires.
yeah, so they're very religious. They have one main
Uh-huh.
church. The main actor is this one, I can't remember his name, the actor's name off the top of my head, but I had to start looking him up because he was so damn good. The lead, two leads that were a young guy and the young girl, not young, I mean like 20s.
Okay.
They were tremendous too. I had to look them up. And well, it turns out Flanagan uses almost all the same people in all of his things,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Kind of like
so
Tarantino does. A lot
cool.
of directors do that too.
Well, so here I am, the unveiling is happening to me, and it's like, I just think like from somebody that's a creative person, I feel I could really relate to what Flanagan does, and I'm not jealous, but I'm inspired or just so happy for him actually that he's found this plot in life where he gets to create really exactly these amazing things and use exactly the actors that he connects with most to bring out these amazing stories. I just think, God, what a life this guy's got.
Right, right.
Tremendous.
And it
And
is interesting to think what, like you're saying, is like they find people that they connect with the most. And
so
now that
brings
makes
out
sense why
they
you
all
see
in
them
rapport.
over and over in these same movies,
They
right? Is that
know.
the director knows how to work with these people.
It's
They've
like a
got a
band.
connection.
It's like a
It's
band
hard.
finding the right bandmates,
Yeah, yeah. And kind of as a layman like I am, it's kind of hard to relate to this because, we hear so much about great directors and they're telling the actor exactly how they're supposed to be in this particular scene.
what
So
he
the
wants to
director
draw out
has
of
it
it.
right. And the actor might not have the whole context, but that's what the director really it hones in on is the context. So he or she is telling this person exactly how they want the
Yeah,
facial expressions,
yeah.
the movements, all of that kind of stuff. And now it's making sense why that, of course, it's going to be so much easier to work with somebody that you understand how their brain works.
Uh-huh.
It's sort of like how you and I work together. We've known each other for most of our lives. We
Hmm.
almost know what each other are going to say next.
Yeah, yeah.
Although
So,
sometimes you totally surprise me.
yeah, yeah, you do as well. So in Midnight Mass, it leads it. It's a big metaphor for the divisiveness in our political sphere these days, and
Oh, is that
it
right?
talks about cult-like behavior.
Wait, hold
It,
on a second. That's hilarious. There's vampires in it, and it's got to
yeah,
do with politics.
yeah,
That
man, it's
does make
deep.
sense.
It's so good. Like I said, I watched it twice, and
Okay, help me connect the dots on this because that's interesting to
well,
me.
you
Like,
know
how does
what?
it relate? How does it tell me?
This
Give me an
brings
example
up
because this is
something I
cool.
got to ask you, because
All
when I
right.
start going down this road, and I don't, because I don't want to be a I want to say a word I shouldn't use, but I don't want to spoil it. I'm trying to get
Okay.
people to
All right.
watch it. I don't
Right.
want to spoil it.
Right.
But Lisa's like, would you just tell us? Just tell us.
They'll forget.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? Should I just tell you the
Yeah,
whole thing?
just tell us. Yes, please.
Okay. You
I
know
gotta
what?
know.
Here's
Okay.
a spoiler for Midnight Mass. If you don't want to hear it, skip ahead 2 minutes. All
There
right.
you go. There you
Okay.
go.
So people are. It's really centered around this priest, and the priest is this really good actor, and I had to look him up too. He just plays this charming priest amazingly. Well, it turns out when the priest went on his retreat, sabbatical to the Holy Land, he went into a cave one night on a really stormy night. He gets bit by
Uh-oh.
a vampire.
That's where they are.
He was a really, really old dude. And when he comes back, he's this really young, charismatic guy.
Oh boy.
They don't, he's saying he's someone else. He goes,
Oh, they don't
oh,
know.
the
Right.
bishop or whatever he was called was, the father was he's doing ongoing work in the Holy Land. So they sent
Right.
me back. And,
Uh-huh.
like you're only getting this unpieced a little bit at a time throughout this series. And so anyways, in this depressing, cold little island of backwoods people, people are coming to church, and like the girl's getting cured of her crippledness and coming out of her chair because he's
Oh yeah. This is
dabbing the
sounding familiar.
wine with a little bit
Yes.
of his vampire blood. So they're getting a
Oh, so
taste.
they're all becoming vampires?
Well, they're getting the good stuff. Everybody's feeling
Oh,
better,
they're like getting
happier,
younger.
stronger, and
Uh-huh.
so they start believing what he's preaching
Interesting.
up there on the
Oh,
stage. So it's seductive. There's hints of the proof behind what he's saying, and so they start getting divided into who's believing him and who's not. And he's at the end at midnight mass, trying to tell them, if you drink this poison, you will not die. You will be reborn. And half the people are
ooh,
saying, no, don't drink the damn poison. Are you crazy?
this
And the
is
other
like
half are
Diana
like,
tragedy.
you've seen the proof. This is the truth. We're doing this. So a
Wow.
couple of his minlings lock everybody into this church, right? And half the
Right.
people drink the poison and become vampires and
Oh
slaughter
my,
everybody.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, and right before that happens, I forgot. There's this strange recurring character in the shadows all the time throughout.
Yeah.
And at the end, the guy's on stage in the church, the father, the vampire, and his father, Dracula, if you will, or whatever, the main
Uh-huh.
bat
Yeah.
man, is back there in the shadows, and somebody calls it out, and he goes, "Yeah, yeah, come up to the stage, come up
This
to
is
the
the guy that
stage."
was in the cave.
Yeah. And this
Yes.
is right before the whole bloodbath happens. So he's
Oh
like,
my
come up to the
gosh.
stage. And while he's trying to convince everybody to drink this poison to die and be reborn. And heaven on earth, the utopia will be here. The political undertones are just like crazy, especially when you watch it twice.
Well, we live in this almost this dystopian world already,
So listen to this.
and we're constantly hearing these promises of heaven on earth from our
Yeah.
politicians,
And you're also being told some people are Nazis, so they're the most
and
evil thing on. So violence
well,
is permissible for this. It's crazy, man.
it really is. And the other thing is when you elect these people, it's a whole maybe it's different, but it's the same game. It's just, a
Just
lot of
exactly right. This
yes.
charade is being like the veil's being pulled off of our faces every day.
Meanwhile, they're actually vampires that want us to
It's so
fall
dark.
under their persuasion or be eliminated.
We're gonna have to get back to that too in current events because we got to talk about this Epstein stuff ongoing,
Oh,
and
it's so
that made
crazy,
me
isn't
think
it?
of it right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Pedophilia
The
stuff
the
is
vampire
so
that never leaves is always in the room.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
this dark shadowy figure comes up onto the stage, and the father is like, the priest is like, okay, show them who you are, show them your greatness, and he takes off his overcoat, takes off his hat because he was very covered up in the shadows,
Right.
and spreads. He's a man bat. Spreads these gigantic bat wings. It's terrifying. And the 50% that
Great.
are already bought
They're
in,
all
he's
yay.
going, yeah. So the father's going, see the angel spread his wings.
The dark angel.
Yeah, and they're bought in. Yeah, that's more proof. Angels have wings.
Right.
You
Right.
see? Do you
Right.
see how
Yes.
the metaphors of today? And
Yes.
so that's Midnight Mass in a nutshell. It's awesome. The House of Usher, uh, which I just got done watching a few nights ago, is about another eight episode miniseries, and it's
Uh-huh.
based on, they don't say it, but it's based on the Sackler family,
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh,
a
really?
horror.
So this is the pain pill people
Right? Yeah,
that
OxyContin.
got us all addicted. Yes.
And the hundreds of thousands of deaths, and still the number's still counting, and
Yeah. The opioid deaths.
never paid the price for it. You could talk about them getting sued for half their profits. What kind of a price is that?
So this is interesting. It's called the House of Usher,
The
and it's
fall
like the
of the House of
Sackler
Usher.
family. They had like the Sackler museums. Everything was
Uh-huh.
Sackler everything. So this is it's yes. They were
It's
very
about them
very
getting
proud
their
of
due.
themselves.
It's
Yep.
about the devil just taking them out one at a time. It's a really good flick, and it's another eye opener. There's lots of
Interesting.
like, how does this happen? How do these people, dude? How does the Sackler family live with themselves?
I think that certain people have gone beyond their own conscience. And, like, you know how your
Yep. Yep.
conscience is there to say, don't do that, don't do that. I think that if you ignore your conscience for so long, you can't hear it anymore. And I think that's really, there's
That's a
certain
good way to
people
put
that
it.
have, because they've gone over that line, where now it's just like they're free from that. I personally believe, from my own Christian perspective, that God is a gentleman, and if you reject God so long, He's going to let you have what you want.
Mm.
And I think this whole thing where people are able to murder without having any second thought about it is like they there's a name for this, but they don't have any care about this. They don't have any
Mob
care for
mentality for
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're lost.
But dude, every one of us are capable because every one of us can get so fired up about bombing other people when the media is used to dehumanize them and tell them that they're doing evil stuff. We're all like, yeah, bomb those bastards. Absolutely.
This is really interesting, Barry, because really, when you think about our recent history, and I'm talking, let's say, the last 150 years, it's only been until that time, really, that war included all the civilians. Where you're, because look, it wasn't until World War One that we actually had planes in war, but they weren't used to bomb things for the most part. But it
Wow,
was World
dude.
War Two
I never
that
thought
brought this
about that.
about. where suddenly the skies are filled with planes that are dropping bombs on civilians. The
Never
West
thought
is
about it
just as
like that.
guilty as the Nazis
You're right.
were.
Because prior to that, we were sending out armies to go meet in the middle of a big field and
That's
slaughter each
right.
other.
Of course, civilians would get killed that way too, and all kinds of terrible atrocities
But I
would
get your
happen to
point.
the civilians. But it wasn't until now, really recent history, that the civilians became the target of the attack. This is really a big game changer here. And really, this book that we're writing, The Red Tsunami, has to do with that exact phenomenon. This is everything short of conventional war, and the attack is
Hmm.
focused on you personally,
Oh, yeah.
not your military. The military is the last thing that they attack, because once they've demoralized the whole citizenry,
Citizenry, yeah.
um, then you have no will to fight.
Yeah,
And so they can just waltz in and, hey,
very
we're
true.
taking over, and that's what they do.
I've only just like in the last couple days, I've started feeling optimistic about this stuff because for months now, I have felt very depressed about where we're going. But I'm only feeling optimistic because of the rapid pace of our awareness that is really taking hold.
I
And
love that.
yeah, and I think it's out just starting to outpace the evil control that the people that have on this world. We're talking about how the Sackler families can get away with that. We're going to be talking about
Yes.
Epstein. It's all the same
Yes.
stuff. And to your point,
It
you
is.
talk about people ignoring their own conscience for so long that they. I think it has a lot to do as well with just the intoxication of power. And I think all of the Epstein thing has everything to do with that. I've heard a lot about how people, of course, even after he was charged with pedophilia, people are still just rolling out the red carpet for him, other powerful people. And it's being said, he was way more connected politically with a lot of other countries, not just Israel. And
Ah, man, you're making such a great point here, Barry. Even Jesus, think about this. Jesus is tempted by the devil. He's God, and the devil thinks that he can get Jesus
just
to,
briefly, when was he? Oh, are you telling us how?
yeah,
When was he tempted by the
he
devil?
was tempted in the desert right before his ministry. He was baptized by John the Baptist. That's when the Holy Spirit comes down and lights on his shoulders, and God the Father says, "This is my son, listen to him." And everybody hears it. Then immediately he goes into the desert. This is the beginning of his ministry, and he's tempted for 40 days. He fasts for 40 days, doesn't have anything to eat or drink. And so after 40 days, the devil shows up. He's in a state of weakness to tempt him. Okay. Now remember, everything that's happening to him is what happens to all of us.
Oh,
So
sure.
when we're in our moment of weakness, that's when that dirty devil
Yep.
shows up,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And he says, well, if you are the son of God, you can turn these rocks into bread. And he said, no, I live by every word of God. So, but one of the temptations was you see these multiple kingdoms, and the devil shows him these glorious kingdoms. I'll give you these kingdoms and you can rule over them. It's like, okay, if the devil thinks that he can tempt God himself with what he already owns and has, think about what he's doing to us with these power plays and everything, and the politics that you're talking about, and how we are confronted with these opportunities, but we have to sacrifice our moral integrity in order to attain these types of things. And this attraction to power that corrupts absolutely,
Yes, it
and
does.
causes this loss of your conscience,
There you go.
and
You
then you're
nailed it.
able to do these types of things, like have massive amounts of people just murdered, like Stalin, or
Uh-huh.
like
Sackler family.
the Mao Zedong, and then the Sackler family is just like that. In fact, they're probably telling themselves, and we saw the movie Dope Sick,
Yes, yeah.
they were telling
Incredible.
themselves what a great thing that they were doing
Yeah,
this
yeah.
entire time. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. They tell themselves how good they are while they're murdering people.
Or
And you see this in
Gavin
politics
Newsom.
all the
There's a
time.
lot of Gavin Newsom right there that I can't say
Oh,
that I could point to murders or anything like that. So I don't want to say that. I'm just
uh,
saying the tactic, like he believes his own press and
yeah,
that he
yeah.
writes.
Well, and it depends on how you see murder. I mean, personally, I see abortion as murder, and he made the state of California the abortion capital of America. You can go there from any other state, and they'll compensate your trip and
I
your
didn't know
abortion.
that. Mm.
And also look at the fires that happened that they let happen. We know they let those fires happen. 19 people were killed in those fires. They told us that they were going to rebuild this thing overnight. What, four houses have been built so far?
Right. And then, like we just talked about, like the homeless crisis over there. It's the homeless industrial complex. They
Oh,
raised 24 billion, put it in there. The money's just gone and not a
let,
dent.
let me tell you about that too, because I got to see that up close and personal with the homeless. You and I rode down the street on our
Uh-huh.
bicycles, and we saw the human carnage. But Barry, people were dying left and right out there. People were dying of drug overdoses, just right out there on the street. People were shooting each other. One of my friends, I knew all these homeless people, got shot in the head. He died. Shaggy, that was his nickname. People, the crisis, and then they laundered all that money. Where did the money go? But meanwhile, this human carnage of people living in wretchedness and then dying in this terrible state. I don't know if you can call that murder, but um, those people were responsible for all those things happening.
It's a lot, at the bare minimum, it's a lot of dark manipulation.
And that guy wants to be your president too. I mean,
I know.
he's coming on strong. Did you
This
see him down
again,
in
though.
Bolivia?
This again, though. I hope I stay in something of this attitude, but I feel like we're awakening
I
to
think so
everything,
too.
and I think not just here. I think worldwide. I think the
I
Epstein
agree.
files may be the catalyst to a worldwide awakening. Maybe.
Well, let me ask you, like, so it's the awakening that's causing this, your happiness on this. I would agree with that. I feel like that's happening too amidst all of these things. I wonder why now, though.
God, I
It
know.
seems like people should have woken up a long time ago, but
But the trickery used, the divisiveness. I mean, honestly, it's the simplest thing. That like you could really start to see this thing. First of all, like the projection politics that I've seen for years now, and that I've seen it mostly on the left. I hate to even, keep fueling the fire of divisiveness here, but definitely the left used it 100%. And we talked about it for the last few years, is whatever they were accusing you of is exactly what they were doing. And even, I mean, here's the simplest point. Tom Walz, Kamala's former running mate, the weirdest guy
oh,
on
Tim,
Tim Walz. Okay, sorry.
yeah.
He's not very memorable, other than the fact that he was instructed clearly to call when he was running. Trump was running against Kamala, but they had to do the vice president standoff. There's that. They got to do their game. He is instructed to call JD Vance weird. Now,
Oh
why do
yeah, I
you do
remember
that?
that.
It takes that. Tim Walz is literally the weirdest guy on the planet.
He
And
really is.
and so he was instructed by people that use psychological methods that say, dude, you're the weirdest dude they didn't even tell him this, but you're the weirdest dude on the planet. So we got to take that moniker. They're going to call you that within 5 minutes if we don't use it first. So we
That's
got to
funny.
take it away from them. Take it off
That's
the
what they
table.
said in the back room. They said, "Okay,
Absolutely
we
they
got a
did.
weird one
I'm
here.
not
Here's what
kidding.
we got to tell him to do."
Not
They
kidding.
didn't tell him he was weird. They
And
just
that's
told him to do that.
that was the strategy
Yeah,
with the left for
yeah, that's a good one.
a long ass time. I mean,
That's a good
say
one.
Nazi, say fascism, say take all this while
Yes.
we do fascist tactics on everybody.
Now, this is interesting, Barry, because now the Democrats, right after the shutdown, which is a disaster, This
Yeah.
government shutdown, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. It makes me so angry that the shutdown even happens. Like that is a tactic now. That's also a new thing. Shutting down the government. That's not something that they've been doing
I heard it's been like since
throughout
the
history.
80s, but it was barely
Yes.
used.
Yeah, it has been since the
Now it's in
80s. There was
vogue.
something in a court that was redefined, and then they started using it as a bargaining chip. Mostly here since 2000, it's become a bargaining chip under Bush and then Obama, and now it's just
Yet
gone
they have no
crazy
skin
ever
in the
since
game.
then. Yeah,
We have the skin
if
in
you
the game,
listen to
not them.
if you listen to why the government gets shut down anymore, it only hurts we the people, right? I mean, we saw what happened here. It was over $1.5 trillion they want to give to illegal aliens over only a 7 week period of time. That's a ton of money right there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. About
Yeah.
$400,000 per individual here in America is about how much that is, but probably a little bit more. I can't afford that for 7 weeks. I don't
All
have
right.
that in the bank
Of
account. How is
course.
that sustainable? So then they use the people, we the people, as a hostage to hold for ransom in order to get this. Then it all collapses because the Republicans hold the line on this, and immediately a whole ton of Epstein files come out, and suddenly it's, oh, look, Trump's name is in there, and he's a predator. And it's like, okay, let's start
That's
using some
just the same
critical.
tactic, though. And we'll come back to that in a second because I want to finish up actually the
Oh,
Flanagan
okay.
stuff. But I do want to say that, yeah, I know all week I've been seeing the pushing of Trump into this, and that is again throw the shiniest object we have out there to distract from what's really going on here, and
Well, yeah. And
because
I
it's
just want to
worked,
say,
it's worked forever.
if they had the power to release all of those files, why didn't they do that before when they were in power?
When they were in power with Biden.
That's
If
what I'm
they were,
saying.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
If they
or
knew
even
Trump
before
was
that.
out there, yeah, why
Yeah.
wouldn't they have done that before? That
I mean,
everybody
that's
was
the
clamoring for
obvious.
these files,
That's
right? And then
obvious.
and then what I've heard so far is what's been released is basically hitting more Democrats. So
Well, I think it's
these
going to be.
strategies are weird.
See, you just went back to the divisive talking points, and I think that in actuality, there's world leaders from everywhere implicated in this.
What I'm pointing out here is what we were talking about the accusing people of what you're actually doing. And this is what I'm saying is
Sure,
that what did we call? I think there's a word for that, but
projection. It's
if you're
projection.
releasing all of these files, uh, it's probably because you're the guys that are guilty. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what
totally.
happens every time is what we find out. And so it seems like this is another one, but it's dirty what's going on.
It's evil. I
It is.
really
That's
do.
that's it. It's evil. It
And
is.
we'll get right back to that. I just want to put a capper on this stuff about Mike Flanagan's work. That I want to just mention that last night I watched a movie of his on Netflix. I guess Gerald's Game is the name of it. Gerald's Game. And it's different from the other ones. I would suggest everybody watch it. I mean, I know if you might be averse to horror, his stuff uses horror to tell his story. And in this
That's
case,
interesting.
it is. And in this case, it was the story is about a woman and played by, if I say her name right, Carla Gugino, uh, who is a famous actress. I don't know if her name is a household word, but you would recognize her. She's a fantastic actress who plays in, again, as a recurring one for him. And she is fantastic in this movie. And it's a both cut to the chase is it gave me, I walked away from this by the end with an awakening in a viewpoint from a woman who struggled with sexual abuse in her past and the idea of being bound and under the thumb of men, and not in a heavy-handed way. I mean, in a very common, everyday way. I don't mean, do not let that trigger political sensibilities. I'm not talking about that. Let me explain. It starts off with her and her husband, who are apparently are struggling with their marriage, going to get away to a cabin where they're trying to spice up their sex life, and he handcuffs her to the bed.
Okay.
Then the Viagra gives him a heart attack.
Oh no. So she's stuck on the bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So that's the setting for 90% of the movie. This is again, folks. I'm gonna give spoilers here. Fast forward 2 minutes if you don't want to hear this, okay? Because I want you to watch the movie. It's really good with a meaningful message behind it. So I'm going to make it real brief because I want to get back to the Epstein stuff and it occurred to us. But she starts like she is stuck there. Her husband's dead there on the floor, which she's having a hard
Yeah.
time, and she's an amazing actress. Then she sees him get up and start talking to him and all this stuff, and she's losing her mind. She's hallucinating. Then she
Oh.
sees herself and them interacting, and she's hallucinating through the things that are troubling her. This is when the sexual trauma comes up and the idea of the bondage. Women are going to love this because it has to do with bondage. So watch the film. It's like 50 Shades of Grey, but actually good. So there's the metaphor of the bondage of her being helpless all this time and at the whims of this husband that she's struggling with, his identity, her role in it. And it comes, I mean, it has horrific stuff in it, and it comes to a meaningful close at the end where she moves on, she escapes from there in this horrific way, and she moves on, and her secret, it was all about the secret of what happened to her at 12 years old that caused so much trauma for the rest of her life. And it was not the biggest secret, okay? It wasn't full on child rape, but it was, I guess you'd call it molestation. What I mean is
see.
this is so common. This is like 50% of the women out there are going to relate to this in this way. And if you're a guy like me, when you watch this to the end and she frees herself in more ways than one, and then goes to tell her story and help other survivors of the same mental problem, the secret. And when you
Yeah.
see it from a man's point of view, just an open-minded man's point of view, like I said, it's not political at all. It's just about people. And you just can empathize with, holy shit, man, I know 50% of women in this world will relate to this woman and always have certain predispositions nagging at them in the back of their mind. It just opens. I can't
Yeah.
explain it better unless you
Well,
watched it.
I can't imagine being in that plight. I
Of
dated a
course, right?
girl that had been raped, and
We all have. Trust me.
it's like that's never going away. That's something that
Right.
they have to live with, and I don't know how you do it, to be honest.
Agreed. I think it's worse. I think rape's worse than murder because someone has to live with that for the rest of their lives,
Yeah,
and you really take
yeah.
their lives away from
Yeah,
them.
you do. It's a terrible, terrible thing, and the people that are guilty of perpetrating these things. I mean, there's the punishments that these guys are getting are nothing compared to what they should get, in my opinion.
True. And I'm just going to say, in the case of that movie, it wasn't full on rape. It was you would call it molestation. You would definitely call it manipulation, taking advantage of a 12-year-old's emotional vulnerability. And that kind of manipulation, where it's kind of like when you can abuse somebody, but if you can't see the scars, it's okay. That's called emotional abuse. But you got to
Yeah,
live with
yeah.
it the rest of your life.
And it's probably worse.
It is because
What
it's
I've found
insidious.
is
You
that
don't know how to get rid of it. You don't know how to
mental
deal with it.
pain is far worse than physical pain is.
True, because physical pain goes away.
Yeah, yeah. Now I gotta ask you. I personally, I'm very sensitive, and I have a hard time. These are tough subjects right here, and
Yeah, but
especially
important.
this last one.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back because it seems like Flanagan makes these horror movies, and he's telling a story that's deeper,
Yeah.
that has deeper meaning. It's
Yeah.
not really a horror thing, but he uses this genre to get the message out. I think that's pretty cool.
It
But I was going to
is.
ask you, because I was thinking about this, like for you, horror movies, what is the scariest kind of horror movie for you?
Oh, that's easy, dude.
Is
First
it?
of all, the scariest one for me of all time was The Exorcist.
Yeah, me too, man.
And
That was because that stuff is real.
yeah,
Like I don't
yeah,
know if a real
it's too
vampire is gonna
close.
come. Yeah.
It's way too close to real. That's why I also like vampire stuff too, because it's you could
It's on
toy
the
with it. You
border of
can
real.
make it
Yeah.
crazy out there, or
Yeah.
you could
Okay.
toy with
Because
it.
that's my second one right there. It's vampires. I don't, want my blood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't like
yeah.
that's freaky, man.
It is.
The
It
whole
is.
thing is freaky.
But I don't give
Uh,
a damn about gory. Let's chop up people horror movies. I don't want to
that's not
see
my thing.
that.
That's
It's
not my thing
yeah,
either.
yeah. There's no meaning to it. There's
No,
nothing. There's nothing delicate there. It's just yeah. It's
no,
not my thing either.
no. It's not. It's not even scary. It's just gross.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you want to
Well, you
segue into the
so
what
back into
happened?
the Epstein thing
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
were
yeah.
talking about that, and
Mhm.
I know you have some stuff to say about that. Like,
Well,
and also we've talked about this quite a bit. I know your frustration around this and
oh
how they
God, yeah,
just and we're wanting people like look, we've got what's her name, Jelaine, whatever
yeah,
her
yeah,
name is.
yeah.
She's in jail still for doing this.
Cushy
Yet
Jill.
none of the perpetrators have been prosecuted, the so-called
Right,
predators.
right.
But yet she's in prison, but nobody else. Epstein, so-called committed suicide, I guess.
I think this is pulling at the thread of a worldwide. This is getting back to what we were talking about of a worldwide cartel that actually really runs the world through manipulation, blackmail,
Yes, yes.
everything, just wealth. And I'm hoping that this awakening, it does seem like this awakening is happening worldwide too. And again, I think that the powers that be, because they're generally older, stuck in their ways, people that have found methods of doing things, I mean, kind of Illuminati like, are ill prepared with the idea of an awakening and because of technology at this mass level. And I wonder if this is I was thinking about this a lot. I was wondering if this is what is meant to be, if this is the human plight. Maybe it happens over and over again, but maybe it's like giving birth. This could be like the discovering of America all over again. When people come over on the Mayflower, really not knowing what they're getting themselves into. It's going to be dangerous. There's a lot of unknown, but we have to struggle and go forward with the idea, the hope of something greater on the other side. And I do wonder if there is going to be a new world order, not in the way that we fear and have been talking about occasionally for so many years, but maybe there's a way to recreate the world and our sense of government, our sense of what currency is, and these things that we just can't really identify yet because this has never happened before. I know that's
Hmm.
kind of deep, but
I think we're at a place.
we're
It
entering
is
into a
deep.
whole different thing, man. With
Yeah.
AI, with our awakening, with our connection with the internet, all of this knowledge. We
Huh.
don't
I
know.
got
We've never seen this before.
no, we haven't. And we I got that song in my head now that this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Ah,
That
yeah.
we're it seems like we're going into a different realm of history right
Uh-huh.
now. Where, like you said, we've if you look at just media the way that it is right now, especially social media and these algorithms, you now have an elite set of people that control that, which we know through the algorithms that they can start to
Manipulative.
control
Hmm.
people's the way people think,
Vote.
and then they have hooks into our financial systems as well and our supply chains, and so we've never had that kind of power available to be wielded by a tyrannical type of a government. And so you've got that on the one side, but then you've got like you're saying, this awakening that's happening,
Yeah, what
and
happens
this
here?
groundswell of people that are starting to realize, hey, wait a second, we're being manipulated and we're being taken advantage of. The biggest fear for this side that's perpetrating this is that we'll wake up and that we'll unite.
Yeah,
And so
yeah, that's right.
what happens when all of their plans of deception get realized? Well, there's this videotape. I probably talked about this before. It came out in 2011 called I Pet Goat 2. And it's really a weird thing. The
What?
reason it's
Yeah,
called that is
weird.
because it starts out with George Bush, and he's in the classroom right as 9/11 is happening. And he's actually reading a book to the students called I Pet Goat. And so this is why the video is called I Pet Goat 2, because this kicks off with the bombing of the Trade Center, kicks off all of these events that start to happen, culminating into this worldwide system that has control over everyone and is pumping propaganda right into our brains. And what happens throughout this, it's about a 12-minute video, is that over time, over this the period of this video, the people that are being brainwashed start to get information on what this massive evil entity is doing. And the more they learn about this, the more their infrastructure starts to fall apart. And as they finally are
Listen to
enlightened to what's
this.
happening, all of the evil infrastructure fall. It's a very dark. All falls apart, and now it's like this beautiful day, and the future is bright. And it's that was
Utopia.
put out in 2011. There are shades in there where it shows that our children will be weaponized, and that there will be a gender changing problem and a sexualization of the youth. All of these things that weren't happening back in 2011
Uh-huh.
started to happen very quickly after. It's a weird video. I Pet Goat 2. I recommend you go watch it. It's animated. It's sort of an apocalyptic kind of a thing with this happy ending. The thing I get out of it is that this is the hope that you're talking about, Mary, is exactly what my hope
That's
is.
exactly what you just explained here. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I want you to come back to the hope that you have, Barry, is the hope that I have. I want you to come right back to that.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, I pulled up this I Pet Goat 2 thing. It's a Canadian animated film. I'm surprised that you like that at all, because it
Didn't
would,
know that.
huh?
I didn't know it was Canadian, but it doesn't matter.
But I would think that it'd be chuck so full of woke stuff that you wouldn't be able to tolerate it.
No, no, no. This is some very enlightened people, apparently.
Okay, so I'm just going to read this quickly. There's no official game title. Okay, whatever. Reference to Goat Simulator joke is a joke original game. What's this about a game? Um,
I have no idea what that. See, you're going to find a lot of different information on this because it has to be.
okay, let's get on
When
it.
you watch it, you're going to be like, "Whoa, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen," and then, but then you got to watch it again. Try to, but what you're going to figure out through this thing, because there's no words in it either. It's like a bunch of
Really?
different scenes. Yeah, there are some words where it basically. I can't even explain this because you got to look at it. There's it's the basic foundation of this is this: the more people are enlightened to what the enemy of our souls is doing, the
Uh-huh.
less power he has over us. And then eventually it weakens the enemy so much that all of their stuff doesn't work anymore. And that's what
Uh-huh.
we're talking about, is that the general public would be so enlightened by what's happening that they don't fall for it anymore. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole fear tactics that these entities are using to keep us in this box in slavery. Because the whole thing, you're the goat, by the way, in this video, which starts out you're in a cage, but it's like the goat doesn't even know he's in a cage.
Oh,
That's
cool.
that's
Dude, is this
basically
like
what
a
we're
seven
in.
and a half minute video?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
on YouTube, guys.
Yeah.
I
You
just
can pick
pulled it
that up
up.
today. It's very weird,
Okay.
but it's like, boy, these guys,
Definitely.
it seems like they nailed it here in a very weird way. Um, The point that I'm trying to make here is that I agree that it's enlightenment. It's when people have the information. I like to look at it like this, Barry. Um, Something called the mosaic effect. We've seen these mosaics. It's a whole bunch of glass put together, pieces, shards of glass, and it makes this
Sure.
beautiful picture, right? If you looked at it up close, which is my analogy is that's what's happening today. We're all seeing these pieces of glass. They're not related to each other. It's like, oh, hey, that's weird. There's a blue piece of glass right there. How about that? I wonder how that got there. And then a couple days later, hey, there's a red piece of glass. Oh, that's weird. I saw another one, but they can't be related, right? And you're just seeing these random pieces of glass, and oh, that's weird, a bunch of pieces of glass. When you zoom out, you can see the whole picture.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what the Enlightenment is
Agreed.
that people are zooming out,
Uh-huh.
and when they see the picture, it's a freaking monster that's all set to pounce on you and devour you and your family. And then when people realize, hey, me and my neighbor realize that this monster is trying to get us, and we're going to set aside our petty differences. We're
Uh-huh.
going to link arms, and we're going to fight that freaking monster, right?
There you
And
go.
that's what I see happening here in our. I believe that that's happening,
It
and I
looks like
believe
it.
that the Epstein thing that we've been talking about, that's part of the revelation. Because, like I said, if you use your critical thinking skills,
Mhm.
you can see that the Epstein thing is just being used as a political tool to get what they want. They're not trying to release any real information and tell us the truth. They're playing us. We've been bamboozled by these people. And look, they held us for ransom for $1.5 trillion. How could we ever trust them again? And by the way, what are the tax dollars going towards? I mean, really, don't we deserve to have an audit now on where exactly my
Right.
tax dollars
This
have gone
again,
for my
Merle,
entire life?
you hit the nail on the head. This is what I mean about awareness. We have been in a day and age for 20 years now where we are fully capable of putting accountability online, where all of our tax dollars are going. Every institution that gets granted X amount of tax dollars should be posting, like in a chart-like form, a what I want to say, consistent chart-like form, so that let's say journalists at least, that can be educated on how to quickly read through these things and verify. When you got questions, that's where you ask. Because let's face it, you and I, the common everyday person, aren't going to take the time to monitor 150,000 different charts and where the money's going. But
Right.
different people, that if you have an interest in a general sector, my kid died because of what's the ingredients in this particular food, you might start going down a certain
Yeah.
trail and the
Yeah.
information should be available to you.
Absolutely.
And dude, there is remarkably little transparency today in our government. Right now, during this administration, I am shocked how we are not being told the truth about anything that's going on. Another related topic is the H1B visas. Did I say it right? One
I don't know.
H1B. You don't know what an H1B visa is that they're talking about all week, and
I've
have
not
been
been
for
plugged
the.
into the news all week. I've been editing a book, so I have not been looking at anything.
Well, if
I've
I don't think I even put it in my notes, but if I say H, I could look it up.
These are the visas that people use to get into the
Yeah,
country to do work visas.
yeah, and I'm just verifying. Yeah, it's H1B visa. It's a non-immigrant work visa. Anyways, you know what? I'm not going to read that. I'm going to just tell you what I'm thinking about. So
Yeah.
there's remarkably a lot of these things that are being granted, and I think it may be at a record level, along with,
That's surprising.
we've been debating so long. Well, why did we want all these illegal immigrants? Oh, they want the votes. Well, they want the votes, but here's the truth. And the H1B visas that the Trump administration is now greasing the wheels on. Christine Noem is getting all kinds of hell right now along these lines. But it's because this economy can't afford the American worker. You can't take somebody that's probably going to form a union and literally have to pay them 500% more than an immigrant or H1B visa person, because prices will go up as a result. If you're the Trump administration, you got to be like, man, all anybody's talking about are prices. That's all anybody that cares about is what inflation has done. What can we do? This is to my point about non-transparency. What if they were just honest and said, look, we can't afford, they're saying all kinds of BS. There's about 3 different lines used that are excuses why we need the H1B worker over the American worker, and they're all BS. But the truth of the matter is, this is about awareness. We all have to start figuring this out. And it's not like figuring it out and voting against Trump next time is going to change anything. That's not the point. The point is, it doesn't matter who our administration is in there. The problems are the same. And what they're going to do about them are the same. They have been. The forever wars will continue. Bringing in illegal or indentured servitude labor is going to continue because we can't afford to employ Americans in the bottom 75% of worker-related jobs. Why? Because prices would then skyrocket because we have to pay those people so much. It's a vicious circle that can't work.
Yes.
We hit the brick wall. And this is back to my point of like everything in this world seems to be coming to the same clashing point. And our awareness in all of this is coming to the same point. Government may as well start getting, like, I don't understand why, I really don't. I'm sure there are reasons that I don't know and understand why this administration went from going to be the most transparent administration ever to everything is a complete spin cycle. And I just feel like things are going to change drastically in probably in unpredictable ways soon as a result of the awareness that we are having.
I think that you're right. I'm counting on it actually. That actually has a lot to do with why we're writing the book, because we want people to be aware. We want people to be able to have a foundation to be able to talk about these things, because right now the fog of this war is so confusing that people can't even have a conversation about it because they don't know. Yeah, they don't know what they don't know. And so what we have to do is we have to provide that foundation, and we have to connect the dots for them even further for them to be awake. But the thing is that I'm in total agreement with you as I take a look at, for example, the shutdown exposed the SNAP benefits, and now we're being told that about 500,000 people have been receiving double payments, and 80% of those people are well abled so they can work. So they're getting double payments, half a million double payments, and they don't even deserve to be getting any SNAP benefits. This has exposed this whole charade, and people aren't going to be happy because they look at their paychecks and they can see how much money is being extracted to pay for these types of things, and then they can't make ends meet at home, and then they're like, oh, wait a second, maybe it's because we did these things and we gave away all of our money to non-citizens. The SNAP benefits
and other countries,
they quadrupled under the Biden administration. So now we're seeing all of these people that are getting all these benefits.
56 or 58, one of those two. Let's say 56%. I just heard this on a podcast like yesterday. It might have been Tucker Carlson. It might have been Glenn Greenwald. I'm just talking about credible sources that have to use validated data. 56% of these SNAP benefits are to illegal immigrants.
I mean, that's so crazy. It's so crazy and unsustainable. And then when you think about, well, what has the government done for you? Of course, they provide highways and infrastructure and everything like that. But Hey man, I was
That's what
down
they
on
should
my
be
luck.
providing.
I was
Yeah.
down on my luck when I lost my job and because I didn't take the COVID shot. And then they wanted their money back after they gave it to me. And then and at the same time they're like, "Oh, you need money? Yeah, I'm Daddy Warbucks," and they're just tossing $100 bills out to these other guys.
Boy, you're
I mean,
absolutely
man,
right.
I'm awake now.
Now, see, this is my point. Every aspect of our government needs 100% reformed.
Absolutely.
Every bit of it
Absolutely.
is corrupt and broken, and we're all becoming aware of it. I do believe that the Epstein files, like, look, they just went in the Situation Room and are trying. This administration just embarrassed. They really turned everything, turned a lot of people against them with the Epstein file denial, overnight thing. I think the worst the worst I don't know what to say, what the noun would be, but I'm just going to say that Dan Bongino looked like they literally yanked the soul out of his body. That
I agree. I didn't even recognize him when they
true.
confronted him and
I think he got the
Cash.
worst of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I mean, first off, you got to your boss. I don't know, Cash Patel, man. He gets those big
Oh
wide eyes all
yeah,
the time, and
he's
it's
not the guy you want lying for you. Yeah.
yeah. And then you got Bongino next to him. I mean, that was some pretty bad optics right there over this whole
Bongino
thing.
looked like his entire family had knives to their throat behind the wall.
That's exactly what he looked like. And
Yeah.
you have to believe that's probably what is happening because it's, I listened to Bongino on his podcast. He's a pretty tough guy talking
I
about
know.
what's going on. And now he's like, he's ballless now.
Well, I don't know where he's at with that today. You'd probably know more than me, but I'll say that I've always criticized Bongino just for playing the Fox game of spreading the divisive hate. You'd wake up every morning and get the tweet. It's the 217th day of Biden's president. He's still the worst
Yeah,
president. I don't want to wake up to hate. And
I don't
anyways,
either.
but he
I agree
always
with you.
played the divisive game on Fox. He played the role, and Judge Jeanine Pirro is his female counterpart, exactly the same.
Yes,
But I
she's,
respect the hell out of both of their intelligence, what they
yes,
said, what they stood for. And with Bongino, I do believe that he really is that tough guy with integrity. He just, hey, that game was easy, is my point. And
yeah.
so when I say it looked like his soul was ripped out of his body, it's because his principle, he had to compromise his principles
That's
that
what it
bad.
looked like to
That's what it
me.
looked
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
it did. But you're making such a great point too about really, politics for the masses, like you and I, like the citizens. We should be using a lot of grace for people that don't agree with us
Uh-huh.
on
Uh-huh.
political stuff. We see, like you said, we see it on TV. The example that we're being led down the path of is if somebody disagrees with you, we're supposed to call them names. We're supposed to think of them as the lower intelligence and all this kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's not going to work. You're not
Right.
going to bring anybody over to your side by doing that. So if we
No.
really want to make changes, we got to put our try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and then use the golden rule. Treat them the way that you would want to be treated. I think if we just use those tactics, uh, empathy and the golden rule, I think it's going to change the whole world. Especially
Yeah.
when we are able to inform people are getting this information. That's the Achilles heel
You
of the
know,
enemy.
you raise a lot of good points, and then there's the tough ones because of what the main manipulative tool that's still being used. This is another way the veil's being pulled off of our heads, but to use the bigot thing. Okay,
Yes.
call somebody a bigot in whatever way, sexist, blah blah blah. If they don't agree with you, and just find a way so that they have to watch every damn thing they say. Well, there's a few things there. A lot of people say a lot of smart stuff, but you may not agree with a lot of important things that they say. That's okay because everybody's got some smart stuff.
Yep.
So again, allow a bit of grace in that regard. But the other thing is this whole Marxist oppression angle of using identity politics. Look, here's exactly what's going on, and it's opening up the floodgates to the jig is up, and that is the whole calling everybody anti-Semite that's not
Oh
agreeing
boy.
to
Yep.
bend the knee to Israel. Boy, that okay, when the right adopts woke politics, it's a floodgate. It's like the jig is up. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is for me, at least, when I take a look at left and right, I'm embarrassed
Oh
to
God,
be
yeah.
honest, because it's like I'm a
We're
conservative.
we're all just suckered into the same game.
Yeah, and but at the same time, and it's so easy to be manipulated through your emotions on this kind of thing. But I would say that anybody that's knee-jerk reaction is to call you a bigot or some one of these labels because you disagree with them. That is a it's like a non sequitur argument, right? It's got nothing to do with the argument, but once you put that out there, it's like there's a fly in the ointment now, and everybody's looking at the fly. It's
Uh-huh.
such a it's such a diversionary tactic. It's like the old Statue of Liberty play in football. That comes from like the Three Stooges, or the quarterback stands up like he's gonna pass, and someone runs behind him and grabs the ball and runs around. It's sort of the double reverse. This
Oh,
is what
okay,
we're getting
okay.
all the time right here. It's ridiculously simple. And they think it's gonna keep on working on us and working and working, and it's like they think we're stupid. I think that's our advantage. I think
Well,
our advantage is how low of an opinion they have of us. Because if we unite and just start to put some of these things into play, they won't have a chance.
yeah,
They won't have it. It's a house of cards they've built. It really is.
well, you're right about that. And we need to man up in this country. And and I mean that in a variety of ways. This is what I was talking about within identity politics is they really, really have, there's been a concerted effort for the last 40 years to 50, 60 years even, to emasculate men. And that's by
That's for
design.
sure.
As
Oh, absolutely.
China's over there pumping their kids full of testosterone and trying to harden them up.
They are.
Yeah, so why would that be? Well, we need to first of all get the plastics out of our food. That is large, is a lot to
Going right
do
into our
with.
brains.
Yeah, yeah. Not only that, reducing testosterone and all of that. I mean,
Ridiculous. It's
and
crazy.
we need to get back to toughening up and speaking out about the ridiculous. There was something in particular that you made me. I wanted to point out. I didn't get to it just now. You just said, but
Well, we've got to hold children to much higher standards. We've got to have bring competition back into the school system. There shouldn't
oh,
be
that's what you were talking
participation
about. You said
awards.
hold children to higher standards. I'm like, what? I was talking about something different. You're talking about in education.
Yes,
I
yes.
got you.
Yeah, actually, that we need to compete. That's part of human nature is that we
Yeah,
compete. When
yeah.
we compete, we bring ourselves to a higher level. It shouldn't be where, oh, Johnny, he got an F, but he really tried, so I gave him an A. That's not how it works. It's not fair to the kid that worked hard to get an A.
Right.
It's not fair to the kid that got an F either because he's going to settle for mediocrity all his life. We got to bring the merit system back
Uh
into
huh.
play here.
Got to
We've
toughen
got
it
to
up.
stop coddling people because, look, as a black person, I can say, the rhetoric aimed at us is coddling. Oh, they don't have lawyers. They don't have a diversity of thought. They don't have this or they don't have that. So it causes us to think, oh, yeah, well, we just, here, give me then. Give me, give me some SNAP benefits because I can't do it. We can't do that. That's terrible what we're putting on these children. And then that's going to be the people that are going to take care of us, the people that don't know how to take care of themselves. How is that going to work? It's not. And so you're right, Ben. We've got to change the whole attitude here. It is all about attitude. Put this weak, fragile attitude out there in order to control people. That's why it's out there. It's just to
Right.
control you. Stop being controlled. You are a free individual and you have the spark of divinity in you. and you are a free agent. Start acting like it.
Just need to keep speaking up and speaking the truth and pointing out the ridiculousness of the things that they're trying to push on us. We're going to have to wind up. Merle, did you
Right
want
on.
to hit on anything else in current events? Which
Oh
was
no,
we
no,
all
no,
over
because
the
that'll go
place.
down a big rabbit hole. But I think that we're looking at. I wanted to say this. I love the positive thinking that's coming from you about the awakening that's happening. It's so funny that people were woke and now
Now we're
they're
awakening.
they're awakening, right? And
Yeah.
it's funny how they used woke in such a grammatically ill fashion when it's like even calling it that was demonic because it's like that doesn't even fit. Like how
Right.
woke, and if you're woke, then a man and a woman don't exist. A man can give birth under woke. I mean, come on, you kidding me? Even cartoons are less ridiculous than this.
I hear you.
So anyhow, that wasn't very positive, but I think the positive part is that it's so ridiculous that people are finally waking up and they're like, wait a second, I gotta get back to what's right here. And I think
I,
our country is starting to realize that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I hate to go backwards, but I just feel like there was so much more that we could have explored about the Epstein thing. One thing, and we've said it before, I'll just say it again. It just seems like, and I know with Epstein, this pedophilia was like right on borderlines. It was usually 16, 17, 18-year-olds, not like 6-year-olds. But, anyways, it does seem like we're unearthing more and more that pedophilia is a part of elite classes, like all the time. And I
Yes.
think that that's, as I said, it's pulling at that string that's going to unravel a whole landslide of garbage worldwide. Is I think that thinking maybe that our political powers are riddled with kind of a demonic pedophilia threaded through it.
I think that you're right. And I think that what we talked about in the beginning, where you get to a point where your conscience doesn't work
Yeah.
anymore. I think pedophilia comes right behind that, and I think
God, that's
that's why
horrible.
we're seeing this amongst elite people because it's absolute power that's corrupted. Absolutely, there's no guardrails
Yeah,
anymore.
right.
So what we're seeing are all the trappings that come out of that. If you look at Romans chapter 1, it talks about this when people lose their conscience and then all of these dark things come out of it, the transgender thing, even the homosexual movement. It's funny when we see today how that homosexual movement has morphed where people that are gay are like, I don't recognize this anymore. We just
For
wanted to have
sure.
rights, but now they've
Right.
they've made it so disgusting. I don't associate with this at all.
Right.
And so
Well
that's
said.
what we're seeing, and it's dragging the whole populace down into this dark hole. That's what they want. The awakening is beautiful because people are not going to go down that hole with the enemy, and well, it's yet to be seen what's going to happen. But I really believe that that's their Achilles heel, and we gotta keep on keeping on with pumping out the information. And we've got to keep a positive attitude too. 'Cause if we fall into depression, we're sidelined.
God,
So
I
we
know I've
gotta
been
we
struggling.
gotta help each other out on that, right? We
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
when you see man down, be right there to lift them up and
That's a
encourage
good
them.
way to put it. Yeah, yeah. We need to find ways that we can give each other a boost up in the right direction when you see it and when you can. Because you're right, that depression is demoralizing. What depression is a stopping of forward mobility. It's stopping. It's staying still.
Right. We got to keep on stoking the fires of hope too, because
Yeah,
once we lose hope,
yeah.
we run out of gas. Once we lose hope, we lose purpose. We have a purpose. We were born with a purpose. We got to keep stoking that up, and that means we gotta stick together. That's why I keep saying we need a grassroots movement of we the people that can
Uh huh.
stick and stay. And we need to keep stoking that up because that's their greatest fear is that we'll wake up and we'll unite.
Unite.
Yep, and
Yep.
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
It is. Okay.
All right.
With that, let's go out with another prank video. Snake pranks.
Oh
You
boy.
cool with that? And go to Over 50 Starting Over. Leave us a comment and subscribe to our email list. Get this to your email box as it happens. And stay tuned for Mark's AI tip, which is always fantastic. Okay, and I did share the sound. Let's check it out.
Joe, don't move.
Oh shit.
Wait, I don't think I saw this one.
Don't move that left
Dude.
foot.
Yeah.
Don't move
There's a big mosquito sucking your
I don't know what's going to
move that
happen
forward.
here. This is not the video I thought it was.
So
Nathan got the best part, walking around the corner like, wow.
I might have to strip this out of our ending. Yeah, I had this great prank video. People with these realistic looking snakes. A lot of them were they hooked the snake somehow, hook it to the back.
belt loop.
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like
and
that,
they're
they try to
running
run
from
away
it.
from it. Yeah.
So
I
funny.
saw one the other day where they had like a fake alligator.
Well, hello there, Over 50 friends. Mark Tennepak with you with your AI tip of the week. This week, using AI to help you make better decisions. First, let's take a step back here. Okay, just one step back. Everything we talk about here on the AI tip of the week and everything we write, it's meant to help you, not replace you, not replace humans. AI augments, it assists, but it's not you. That's important to understand. So this week, how AI can help you make better decisions, not replace you, help you. Once again, that's very, very important to understand. AI can be that second set of eyes for the pros and cons of any scenario. If you have a strategic plan for a business and you want a second set of eyes on that, pros and cons, it could do it. If you have a paper you're writing, some research you're doing, it can help you with those second set of eyes. Even if you're writing a very important email, it can also do that. It's very, very helpful. It can identify patterns, trends, and it can access a wealth of information because it's trained on everything. AI can forecast outcomes. It can create what-if analysis, especially if you have a lot of data, and it can help you weigh those risks. AI can challenge your thinking, and it should, to help you become a better critical thinker and make better decisions. And the best part, you can create your own AI coach for practically any topic, any scenario, and in this case, we're going to create an AI coach to help you make better decisions. Okay, let's try this prompt. And at this point, you might want to pause the video, take a screenshot of the prompt, upload that to AI and have it translate that for you, and then you can run it. So here's the prompt. Act as an expert business coach who specializes in helping senior leaders with better decision making. I work in a senior position in human resources at a small to medium-sized construction company who builds homes. That's the scenario I used. Draft a brief proof of concept to present to management for AI adoption, focusing on key benefits, potential ROI, and addressing leadership concerns about cost and training, and do that in simple terms. So I ran this prompt, and not bad. You have a nice little AI adoption proof of concept outline with an objective, why now, give some really good bullet points, reduce repetitive administrative work, improve workforce planning and scheduling, strengthen communication between field and office teams, list some key benefits in a nice little table there, what the area is, an example use case, return on investment figures, you want to check these, don't forget, AI can make mistakes and it can hallucinate, and then you can just fill in your own numbers. You can address leadership concerns, some questions they have, it has a nice little table with that. And as a quick tip, under key benefits, if there's something there you say, okay, this sounds great, ask AI to expand on that more. So in case you get questions on something like that, you have an answer ready for that. Success metrics, what that looks like, time saved on key HR admin tasks, user satisfaction and adoption rates, next steps, and a closing statement. Not bad. And then finally, the AI says, would you like me to format this into a one-page executive brief for easy printing or presentation, or a slide deck version? It even asks you that. So have that dialogue. Go back and forth in conversations. Just talk to the AI. Even better if you have a paid version of ChatGPT or Gemini. They both have advanced voice mode. You can just talk to the AI back and forth in a conversation. I will add this though, if you're using advanced voice mode with data and not on a Wi-Fi or a connected network, it can break up. It can just cut out on you. Sometimes it's really frustrating. So if you're going to use that, I would use a wired connection. And then finally, WhisperFlow. I am late to the party on this. I just found out about it, but it is a fantastic voice-to-text app where on my Mac, I just hit my FN key and I start talking. And when I lift the key, everything that I have said is where it should be. If you're writing something in a document, it'll appear there. If you're writing something for AI, it will appear in that chat window. It's fantastic. Try the pro version of it, and it's free for like 7 days, whisperflow.ai. And if you want to use my little suffix there, I get a free week if you sign up. But it is great. WhisperFlow, you'll love it. So wrapping up, remember, AI doesn't replace you. It can't do that. It supports your unique expertise. Think of AI as that second set of eyes. It's fantastic for that. You can use it to spot trends in your industries, or so you can learn these things quicker. And start small. Learn by doing and get better at the prompting. So it's your turn. And try that AI business coach prompt or coach on any topic. Get a new perspective on AI and what these models are capable of doing. It's fascinating. Have that back and forth conversation with ChatGPT or Gemini. Let it be that personal advisor for you. And use AI to spot trends, forecast outcomes, and test any decisions before you act to help you make smarter decisions. So I want to hear from you. Mark@marktenet.net. What did you think of this? Have you tried it? And if you want to connect on the socials, I am at LinkedIn. I am at Mark E. Tenet. Till next time, keep prompting. See you next time.